Let's get down to business to defeat the crusade. Did they send me daughters when I asked for sons? Hey, Thrall! Oh, speaking of daughters, what's up, Jaina? Oh, just chilling. Chilling? Don't you know the Burning Legion is attacking? Attacking? We already killed them all over at the Alliance base. Killed them all? That must have been an epic fight. Tell me about it. Oh, I didn't even do anything. These adventurers came in and killed everybody. I didn't even cast a single spell. What? That's pathetic. Well, they didn't even drag the mob close to me. I didn't even engage them in combat. Dang, Jaina, you suck. I need a new girlfriend. What's up, Thrall? What's going on? Yo, Arthas! Check this little lady Jaina out. She sucks. Yeah, I got rid of her a long time ago. Oh, no! So, what's going on? The Burning Legion is attacking. Oh, yeah, I know, but I'm just chilling up in Northrend. Doing Lich King things. Oh, guys, I made it back. That was a long corpse walk. Man, those hunters really beat me on the DPS. I gotta study some. You guys got any guides for me? Oh, this guy again. Yeah, let me check my YouTube feed. Let's see here. Got Dark Moon Card Greatness, reasons to start farming gold now for Wrath of the Lich King Classic, and top DPS specs in all phases of Wrath Classic, Tier 7 to Tier 10. Trust me, I'm a turbo nerd. That's what's coming up on my YouTube feed here for TBC Classic. Whoa! I heard Affliction's great! Man, I'm gonna go study on Wrath of the Lich King. Later, guys. Thanks! Oh, I hate that guy. What's up, guys? We're back again for the second video of the Hyjal Trash. This video is going to be a little bit more in-depth and a lot longer, so we're going to talk really quickly. Okay, we're over here at the Horde base now, where we're going to be doing the trash before the third boss and the trash before the fourth boss. Again, it's going to be 8 waves each. And there's going to be additional mobs, but there's also going to be these mobs as well, which you've already dealt with. So we'll go over these really quickly, because you should be familiar with these by the time you get to the third and fourth sets of trash. Got your A-bombs with the knockdown, dangerous to tanks. Got the ghouls that you just AoE down. Cannibalize might come a little bit more into play here because you have to split the raid up a little bit. So you just want to make sure you kill them when they get to low health. Got your guys that summon things and fall over, really easy to cleave. Got your banshees and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, anyways, let's go on to the new mobs. New mobs here. Got the old Frostworm here. Big old dragon, dead dragon. And he's got a lot of health. And he basically just has a Frost Breath nuke, single target nuke. That deals damage, frost damage, and reduces movement speed. Can be dispelled, the movement speed part of it, which could be useful on a tank, probably a prop paladin. Get them with exorcism and LOSing them to bring them down. More cannon fodder mobs here. We got the gargoyles. They do a gargoyle strike. Doesn't hit for very much, around 12 to 1500. It is nature damage. So armor doesn't really help you out here. Nature damage. We've got these Fell Stalkers, I think they're called. They just do a basic melee, and they also have a mana burn. It's a 2-second cast, and it does burn like 1400 mana. And these can be quite sucky if they get a cast off of, a bunch of casts off of, because there's a lot of mobs. So we might be pulling in some arcane bomb shenaniganry here. Jeez, that's hard to say. To get them a big AoE 5-second silence here on the 1-minute cooldown. So that might be really nice here in this situation. We'll see. We'll have to see. Last bomb is the Giant Infernal, and they have the melee, and they also put the Flame Buffet debuff on the tanks. I believe it is dispellable. If it's not, well, you just gotta kill them fast, I suppose. It's just increases by 50, so if it's not dispelled, it's not the biggest of deals. Just got to kill them before it stacks up to like way too high, right? And those are the 4 new trash mobs that come with these waves, along with a bunch of the old stuff as well. So let's go over the waves real quick. Once again, we've got the 8 waves before Kazragal, and we've got the 8 waves before Asgalor. We're going to put this Arcane Bomb here a little bit, just to keep us here. So let's talk about the dangerous waves. First of all, before Kazragal, it kind of has a cadence to it where first wave is just going to be all AoE-based melee from the ground. Next wave is going to have some air troops. Then the wave after that is going to be all from the ground. Next wave is going to have some air troops. Then next wave is going to be all from the ground. Then next wave is going to be air troops. And then it breaks just a little bit here with this one frost worm, but then after that it's back to then just a full ground wave again. So it kind of has like every other, you have to deal with air mobs except this one lone frost worm here. The dangerous ones here, or maybe not the dangerous ones, but just the ones we have to watch out for because we haven't dealt with them before, are the 10 gargoyle spawn here, the 6 gargoyle spawn here, the 8 gargoyle and the 1 frostworm spawn here, and of course the 1 frostworm that's lonely here. Not too difficult, just need to know how to deal with them. Over here on the Asgalor side, with the 8 waves before Asgalor, we only have the 1 air wave here, and then after that there's no more air that comes in. So we have to deal with this gargoyle and frostworm spawn. Although this 8 gargoyle and 1 frostworm spawn is the exact same as this one here. They come in from the same position, except there's just 5 ghouls as well. So once you can deal with this one, then this one's no problem. But then we do have the infernals that we have to deal with. So we do have 6 abominations here, which can be deadly for tanks with a tank knockdown, so we do want to watch out for that. We do have the air spawn coming in here, the air wave. Then we have the 8 infernal spawn. Next, we have the 8 infernal spawn with the 6 fellstalkers, which probably the arcane bomb will come in quite handy here from a couple of engineers on those fellstalkers, if that silence works. But I assume it would work. It's they're just trash mobs, so I assume silences should work. After that, we just have another 8 infernal spawn way down here after 2 complete melee waves here. And those are really the only things we have to deal with. It's just that you have to split your raid up a little bit. So positioning and rounding up the mobs is key, along with getting them all leashed and LOSing in the appropriate places. Okay, so let's move on towards the Horde camp. So here we are in the... no, this is the wrong game. I'm sorry. Let me delete this. Hold on a second. Goodbye. So here we are in the Horde camp, Horde encampment in Hyjal Summit. Here's the in-game map, and I'm just going to line it up with you with this screenshot here just so you can see exactly what's going on. Most of the ground waves, melee waves, are going to be coming in from this way. And on this map here, the screenshot, that is coming up this road this way. Okay, so that's where all the melee mobs are going to be coming in from. Right? After that, you can see these 2 buildings here, then this tall building here, and the hut here. You can see this tall building here is the tall one here. The hut is over here, and you can see those buildings in the background there. These are these 2 buildings back here. Okay, so those match up there. After that, you can see this big one here is, and this TP here, this is Thrall's base camp, and this is the TP back there, which on our screenshot here, this is Thrall's base here, and this is the TP back there. All right, so now we've got everything lined up. We'll just move this out of the way, and we'll talk about the waves. So the waves before Kazragal. Like we mentioned before, it's mostly going to be alternating. The first one is just going to be an all melee one. So the melee adds are going to be coming up from this way here. It's not a dangerous wave. It's kind of just like the gimme wave of this one. You just stack them up and AoE them down. Just make sure your tanks don't die to the A-bomb knockdowns. If we want to use some shackles here, we might. If not, I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal. We might use 1 shackle. So instead of 4 A-bombs, we just deal with 3 at a time. Okay. Next wave is going to be our first air wave with the 4 ghouls and the 10 gargoyles. As I mentioned, the ghouls cannibalize might come into play here. If we don't leave enough people here to actually finish the ghouls off, and out DPS through their cannibalize heal, that can become a problem. So we do want to make sure that we just wipe up those ghouls really quickly and don't allow them to cannibalize before we then go over to the gargoyles to deal with them. Now, the 8 gargoyles from this phase are going to be spawning back here. Here's our gargoyles way back there. They're going to be coming in from those 2 buildings back there in the background there. And they're going to be engaging horde spear throwers, the dark spear spear throwers back there. This is where our leashing and LOSing is going to come in handy. Now, I'm not really sure exactly how LOS works in the TBC client, so we're going to try a couple of different spots and see what happens, okay, and see what we can do. So what we're going to have is we're going to have a couple of healers back here. We're going to have maybe on this wave, we're going to have a couple of tanks back here, and we're going to have our hunters back here. The hunters are going to basically just misdirect the tanks, get all 8 of the gargoyles onto the 2 tanks, and what we want to do is we want to LOS on this Tauren hut here. If it's LOS, I'm not sure if it is, it's cloth, they might just do their attack straight through it. If it is LOS, we want to LOS here because we want to get these Tauren warriors involved in the kills because they do have the War Stomp stun, and that is very useful to us. Basically, when we get them all stacked up here, when our raid is finishing dealing with the ghouls, they just come here and boom, 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 AoE them down. This wave is super easy. It's just all about getting the Viscerex onto the tanks and pulling them LOS. If this spot is not LOS and they shoot us through, if we learn that, we will LOS at the Mage Tower here, because that is a brick building and it definitely is LOS. But we do want to check this one first to see, because it is better, because we can get those Tauren warriors involved. Okay, so let's check it out. The next wave should be... Oops, sorry guys. I'm moving the map. Apologies. Okay, let's just delete these then. Okay, the next wave should be an all melee wave. Again, here we have 6 ghouls, 6 crypt fiends, 2 necromancers. Really easy, guys. Just blow them up. No problem at all. Okay, so we won't even talk about that one. Just AoE them, blow them up. Next wave, we're going to have 6 crypt fiends, 2 necromancers, and 6 gargoyles. This is the first one we want to split a little bit more evenly a little bit here. We want to load up the melee a lot with DPS because we do want to kill these necromancers quick before they summon any adds, or they can just continually summon adds. Crypt fiends are no big deal. We'll just AoE them down, like we said. We just nuke them down. Prop paladin, pick them up, nuke them down, AoE them. 6 gargoyles here are coming from the same spot as the last gargoyles come from. So the 6 gargoyles spawn in here are all coming from back there again. So the exact same strategy. We get the Misdirects, we LOS here if we can. If not, we LOS here if we can. Once most of the raid is dealing with the melee mobs, they come back and they nuke them, right? So we have our Hunter squad, our Tank squad, and our healers who are healing the Hunters and Tanks back here, and we get them ready for the raid to join us. That wave again is fairly easy, just a little bit more complicated than the last one. After that, we have our next melee wave here. This one is a little bit more difficult because it is a 6 abomination wave. So we're going to want to get some Shackle Undeads on the abominations, probably 2 Shackles. Clear up the Necromancers, and then clear up the A-bombs, and then break the Shackles, just like we kind of did whenever we had a 6 A-bomb pull before the first boss, right? So we just want to make sure, we drag them through the Consecrate. After they're out of the Consecrate, get the Shackles, and then start getting them in position and AoEing them down. Okay, we don't want to have any tank deaths here to these 6 abominations. Okay. The next pull after that is a brand new pull with the 8 gargoyle and the 1 frost worm. Now on this pull, okay, the gargoyles are going to be coming from this side over here. They're going to be coming over the mountain over this here, and they're going to be coming a little bit before the frost worm also comes from this side, right? Now, the gargoyles kind of like fly around and then they'll land. Oh, geez, key, I need to lock that. Hold on, guys. I'm going to lock that. Thank you. They fly around and then they land somewhere. Again, we'll get some Misdirects. A very nice LOS point here for this one is actually behind this tusk or behind this tusk by Thrall. That way we can get Thrall and his buddies here involved. Thrall does a ton of DPS, way more useful than Jaina. That's why we did the little parody at the beginning here. So we want to get Thrall involved. When the Frost Worm does come in, he's going to hover and start casting the Frostbolt. So here again, Prop Paladin tank, so we can Exorcism, Hunter Misdirect, Prop Paladin, LOS behind the Tusk. Let's get Thrall involved, right? And we basically just clean them all up. Not a big deal. We just, again, have to wrangle them and get the LOS correct. So, next wave. Next wave, we have another big melee wave with the 6 ghouls and 4 abominations, and then the Frostworm is coming in. Okay, this Frostworm actually comes in from this direction, right? So here again, we'll probably get the misdirect and then just run, and LOS behind the Tusk. This gives us a lot more time for the core majority of our raid to be cleaning up those ghouls and abominations before they then join, before they then go in and kill the Frost Worm. So while this phase is going on, we're just kind of one tank, one healer, and one hunter. Then we're going to have the misdirect. Tank is going to kite back, and then this healer is going to come back and just heal this tank, while the whole rest of the raid deals with the melee. And that shouldn't be a big deal. The last wave, of course, is just the big AoE wave. This can be a little bit dangerous just because of a lot of damage, and the A-bomb can do the stun here. We just need to make sure if we want to use a shackle, we'll use a shackle. If we don't think we need to use a shackle, we'll just get the frost traps down there, make sure we kite so we take a little bit less damage, get them in the improved blizzard so we can take a little bit less tank damage, and then we call it good. So that's going to be the 8 waves before Khazra-Gul. More complicated than the first 2 bosses stuff, but once we get the hang of it, really not a big deal. The key points here are know where the mobs are coming from, know which wave we're on, and know exactly where to, who to misdirect, where to get threat, and where to line of sight. And when we do line of sight, we want to make sure our healers know where we're line of sighting, so they don't line it, so we don't line of sight the heals on the tank as well. When we have those things down, should be a piece of cake. So let's move on to the Asgalore trash. Okay, first wave here. 6 abominations, 6 necromancers. This one is decently deadly, because we do want to get in there and kill those necromancers real fast before they start summoning. But again, there are 6 abominations. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do the frost traps. We're going to have the misdirects on all the abominations and the consecrate, maybe even a sapper, to pull the abominations through, but not hitting the tanks because they're in the slow, especially the improved blizzard. Once they get through that, then we get the shackles and we tank the A-bombs, and just everybody nukes the necromancers while the tanks tank the 3 abominations, because we'll get 3 shackles out here on this 6 abomination pull. Nuke the necromancers, then nuke the 3 abominations, and then break the shackles to get the 3 rest of the abominations. This one can be dangerous, so we really need to not take it easy on this pull here. Although if we do wipe on this one, it's not a big reset, right? Not super big deal. But again, we don't want to wipe. Okay. Next one here is going to be the 5 ghoul, 8 gargoyle, 1 frostworm pull. This one is the last air wave that's coming in. And like I said, it's exactly like this pull right here, except with 5 additional ghouls. So that means the ghouls and the frostworm are going to be coming in from this side. So again, we get the ghouls, we get them misdirected, we pull them down to the ground, we might LOS them here to get Thrall involved, and then we misdirect the frostworm to a prop paladin tank, and that prop paladin will LOS here. We are going to want to make sure that we clean up those ghouls pretty fast so they don't cannibalize and just linger and stay alive. That will be very annoying. Okay, so probably we'll just focus the ghouls first just to get them out and ignore the cannibalize before then we move on to the other things. Remember, these guys have the gargoyle strike that only hits for about 1200 with nature damage, so it's not the biggest of deals. So let's just wipe out those ghouls first. Okay, and then that's it for the Frostworm, and the Gargoyles. They are no longer a part of any trash after that. So, next one is 6 Ghouls and 8 Infernals. So this is where it starts getting interesting. Infernals are, I believe, shackleable and banishable. So we might want to use some there. But the thing with the Infernals, they're interesting, is they spawn all over the place. Okay, there's a couple that spawn here. There's a couple that spawn here. Oftentimes there's one that spawns like way back there, and he doesn't even engage any mobs. He's just like wandering back there. And then there's one that comes down like right in the middle, and then there's ones that come like over here as well, right? So here what we're going to do is, again, we need to make sure we're blowing up the ghouls that are coming in. We don't want to deal with the cannibalize, just blow them up, right? And we will decide which ones we want to shackle or banish and which ones we want to kill, okay? These ones over here will probably have a prop paladin, and the prop paladin will judge one and exorcism the other, and then pull them into the center. Okay, pull them into wherever Thrall is engaging, because this one that lands here will pretty much pull Thrall right away. So he pulls them into the ball here. Okay, we'll have another tank grab these two here and pull them again this way. Okay, these two that spawn close to the melee stack, these are the ones we're going to probably want to shackle / banish. Okay, that way it leaves our tank here to deal with the ghouls, and then we go up here, deal with the giant ball that Thrall is dealing with, and then we leave with these two that you might think be our first kill priority. Actually, we're going to leave these two to be our last priority. So we'll clean those up. That leaves us in really good position here with the raid here to start the next wave for anyway, right? That's probably how we're going to deal with all of the 8 infernal summon waves. So next wave, 8 Fellstalker, 8 Infernals. Again, the Infernals are the exact same thing, and the Fellstalkers are coming in. This is where we're really probably going to want to be using these arcane bombs for the silences, right? Now the Fellstalkers luckily do not have a lot of health, so we're just probably going to send in our Warlocks, and we're going to send in our Mages, and we're just going to blow the crap out of them. And we're going to have tanks and other classes that are engineers, so we're going to be able to get those arcane bombs out. No big deal. Then we just deal with the 8 Infernals exactly how we dealt with the last 8 Infernal wave. The 2 banishes and the 2 tanks pulling those Infernals into Thrall, right? Okay, next wave is a full melee wave, right? Again, we're going to want to get our arcane bombs out on these Fellstalkers. We can silence them. 4 abominations in this one where we want to blow up these really quickly. We might not use a shackle because we just don't want to waste the time to CC. We just want to start DPSing immediately. But this wave might be tricky. We'll see how it goes, because an abomination knockdown here, combined with some spell casts and stuff like that, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we want to use some CC. Probably the first time we attempt it, we probably won't, because we just want to jump these guys and just nuke them as fast as possible. Next one, 6 Necromancers, 6 Banshees, no problem at all. AoE ball. Next one, 2 Ghouls, 2 Cryptsteins, 2 Fellstalkers, and 8 Infernals. This wave is pretty much going to be exactly as the same as this wave here, where we're going to have the 2 tanks again pick up the 2 Infernals from the side, bring them into the central Infernals that Thrall is already engaging, right? And then this is where our Warlocks, after they've banished, and our Mages and any cleave melee DPS is just going to blow up these melee before we then go in and engage the Infernal Ball, and then finally clean up the 2 Infernals that we have banished / shackled. I really hope Infernals are shackleable and banishable, because if they're not, it screws up this whole thing. But I think they are. Okay, last wave. 4 Abominations, 4 Crypt Fiends, 4 Banshees, 2 Necromancers, and 2 Fellstalkers. Again, we do want to jump these really fast, but these 4 Abominations can prove tricky. We might try it without some CC. We might try it with some CC. This one I probably will attempt for the very first time with some CC on these Abominations, just because it is the last pull before the boss, so we want to make sure it's super clean. Okay. But once we get a couple shackles out on the A-bombs, boom, just blow everything up. What else we might do is we actually might have two tanks pull the abominations out. So basically, a prop paladin and a warrior tank would pull these 4 abominations out, 2 on each tank. So it's not super deadly when they get to hit the knockdown. Then the second prop paladin is tanking all of these mobs, and then these mobs are just nuked. That will avoid the CC, but that means we're going to have to do it in 2 AoE nuke phases. Nuke these ones, and then nuke these ones that are pulled out. That's probably pretty safe, and I probably like that strategy a little bit more than the Shackle the Abomination strategy, so we'll probably try that one out. After that, it's boss time, guys. So thanks for staying with me. I know this one was a little bit longer. This is more complicated with splitting up the raid and stuff like that. But again, with the principles of understanding who to misdirect, understanding where to go, understanding what healers are healing what, understanding where to LOS on where and when to pull mobs to thrall, and cleaning up any melee ones, it shouldn't be a big deal. I think we'll have the hang of it really quickly. So that's the end of this one, guys. I will catch you in the next boss guide for this dude. I forget this dude's name right now, so we'll talk about him later. Thanks, guys. Peace.